From the Oakland Hills to Jack London Square, from the port to the Coliseum, this is Talk of the Town, an in-depth conversation about the people and issues important to Oakland.
Hello, I'm Dave Clark. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host here on Talk of the Town. I always try to find really great people to talk to and talk about. I have two great people who are with me right now, two very dear friends. On my left, Juan Escovedo, musician, talented person, and just a great human being as well. And Dr. Gethsemane Moss, a leader, a consultant, a management person, and I love you both. And I thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
I wanted to talk to you about what you do, and I wanted to start to talk with Juan for a number of reasons. You're a musician. You come from a musical family that includes your dad, Pete Escovedo, your sister, Sheila E., so many other great people. I'm not forgetting your brother or anything
Peter
else.
Michael.
Peter
Yeah.
Michael, your uncle.
There's my uncle Coke.
Coke Escovedo.
Also, yeah.
And
Alejandro.
And so many people.
Yes.
And you're a native of, you grew up in Oakland.
Oakland, born and raised in Highland Hospital in Oakland. Yes.
So tell me about your family and growing the roots in Oakland. And a street has been renamed in honor of the Escovedo family.
Yeah, that sign is on 9th Avenue, East 21st in Oakland, because we were there for the longest time. So that's when we were growing up, and that's the foundation, I think, where all the music and stuff came together. Because I think we was there when Zena was born there, my younger sister.
Your beautiful sister, Zena.
Zena.
Yes.
Who sings with me here and there. But we grew up in Oakland, like you said, and 9th Ave was a place where we're like 9, 10, 11, where we really started playing music.
Yeah.
And that's where we used to rehearse in the front room. And Carlos Santana, he was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Used to come by before he made it. Prince actually came to the house when he was 16. So that was, and Larry Graham and all the Tony ended up playing with us. But that's where everything started in that household, because that's when my father started making it, because he was struggling for years playing at these little clubs and stuff. And then when he got into the band Santana, and I saw a limousine come up.
He said, Dad's made it.
I said, we made it. I said, we.
Yeah, we. Yeah.
And he was going to the Coliseum. And everybody in the neighborhood never seen a limousine. So they're like, man, limousine pulling up. They must be rich, right? So we got in limo and went to the gig and concert and stuff. But that's where everything started. We grew up playing percussions. And we actually, me and my brother took piano lessons down the street.
Okay.
So I play piano still and bass, and my brother plays piano. But that's how we write songs. A lot of people don't know that and it's so nice not to just hear 3 drums or those tones.
Yeah.
On the piano, you can expand and do what you want to do and create songs and stuff. So, but that's where everything started for the family on 9th Avenue, 21st.
Wow. Now, Gethsemane, how did you meet this young, handsome man who's celebrating another birthday?
Right.
But how'd you come into this life?
Well, very interesting. On this day, 5 years ago, we actually met for the first time. I happened to go, to a show that he was performing at with his dad and brother. And it was one of my friends, it was her birthday, and she was like, oh, we're gonna go and celebrate and go see Pete Escovedo. And so I'm kind of like, casually, I almost didn't want to go really, but
I'm telling Pops.
I know, right?
Okay, all right.
Only because I was like, I had one of those moments where I don't feel like really going out. But I ended up going, loved the show, and then I actually met Juan for the first time then. And then fast forward, we connected again. I was actually supposed to go to his birthday show. that he had following that particular event, but then COVID, the pandemic hit,
yeah.
so everything shut down. And then I saw him again a little bit later, and I also write for a magazine, for the Benicia magazine, and so I was like, I can interview Juan. So I reached out to him to schedule an interview that kind of took a little bit more time as well. But when we did finally
call me, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
Every day.
Right.
It was so-called interview.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So we actually sat down and we had the interview and it really kind of all started from there. So
Yeah. Juan, I'm sitting here next to you. You're about the only person I know who's been on stage with Prince. What was that like?
First of all, when I actually had a job. I mean, I always played music and stuff.
Yeah.
But then when Sheila did The Glamorous Life with Prince,
Yeah.
those two wrote it and did it in, I believe in Minneapolis, could have been in LA.
Yeah.
So Sheila called me, she said, well, we're gonna do this interview. I mean, a video, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was MTV back then.
Yeah, MTV,
So Sheila said, so I'm playing percussion, but then I'm gonna go in the front and sing lead. So I need you to play the percussion part that she was playing.
Right.
So it
Pick
doesn't
it up.
stop.
Yeah,
right?
right.
So then I said, okay, I could do that, So I talked to the people I was working with, and they said, you doing what? I said, yeah, my sister Sheila E, she wasn't that famous
Yeah,
yet.
right.
And they say, okay, we'll give you the week off. And I'm like, cool. So I go to LA, do the video, and then I go back to work. I was doing landscaping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now I'm doing people's apartments, houses, and video comes on, and they're going, is that you? I'm going, yeah. Why you mowing my lawn? And I'm like, well, because I said I did the video.
Yeah.
And then it was getting crazy. So I called Sheila. I said, Sheila, you knew me in the band. I told her. I'm like, you need me in the band.
Yeah.
And then she goes, I do need you. And I said, oh, cool. So she called Prince, and Prince was like, yeah, have Juan in the band. And then I went to rehearsal. We're rehearsing in Oakland for like 3 to 5 months, 10 hours a day. Then we went to Minneapolis, and we started rehearsing in the Coliseum, right? So I never had a rehearsal like that at a Coliseum, like, big stadium. And then Sheila, we started doing the songs, the dance steps and all this stuff. And then I remember this one time when we were rehearsing at a studio, and she goes, okay, Prince coming in now today to see how good and everything is. So he comes in. I'm playing. I got this big rack, all these cymbals, all my drums, everything. So she said, give it 110%. So I'm playing hard, playing my butt off. So, a monitor behind me for the sound.
Yeah, right.
So I'm backing up, and I hit the monitor. I went back, and I was grabbing cymbals, right, to stay up.
Oh, wow.
And all you hear is ching, 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 everything falling apart. And I go, and all I hear is laughter, right? And I'm laying there going, I got to get up, right? I'm going to have to get
Eventually.
up. And then I hear Prince laughing. He's laughing. And I look up, and he goes, I like you. You're funny. And then he left.
And he left.
That was it. And then
What a story.
yeah, so then after that I was in the band, and we toured with Prince on the Purple Rain tour after his movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. A lot of fun.
Is music in you? Was it always in you specifically? You grew up in a family made up of music, but was it always in you?
That's a good question. I believe it took me longer and harder to get to the level of my sister and my brother and my father.
Okay.
I was the one that didn't feel like I was as good as they are. So but it worked out good because it made me rehearse more and more in my bedroom on 9th Avenue, 21st. So I would practice, study, take lessons from Bill Summers, that played with Herbie Hancock, and also he did Roots. Remember when they did Roots that whole week? Yeah. So that was Bill Summers. So he was teaching us Shake-a-Day, Beat 'em Bow, all this African drumming and stuff, which we didn't know anything about at that age.
Yeah.
And then I just started really studying music, and then I would see them play it. So then it was Pete and Sheila Escovedo. They had a CD out,
Right.
album back
Yeah.
then. And I started learning their songs. So when there was somebody that couldn't do one of his shows, I said, Pops, I already know all
I
your
can
breaks.
step in here.
I can do it. And he goes, I don't know if you're ready. And I'm like, you haven't heard me play in a while because I've been in the room.
Yeah.
So I said, Pops, come listen to me play your album. So I'm playing it. I'm nailing all the bongos. I was playing bongos then and cowbell. So I was nailing everything. He goes, you're hired. And I was in, and I was like 15.
Wow.
So the band he had back then was Azteca. It was a 16-piece orchestra with Neil Sean. They ended up playing with Santana and Journey.
Wow.
Who created Journey, Neil Sean.
Wow.
From Marin. So so after that, Pops got his own band and stuff. So that's where it started for me, just learning my father's songs and playing the music. But your question was, did I know I was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know.
But
I was hoping.
we know it now.
You know now.
We know. We're going to take a quick break. I'm
Okay.
coming back because I want to find out more about the both of you. And I do love you.
I love
So-
it.
Yeah.
We love you too.
We'll take a break. You come back with us. I'll see you momentarily here on Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Dave Clark. Thank you for being here. And my two guests are here as well. Juan Escovedo, very talented musician from a musical family, and Dr. Gethsemane Moss,
Yes.
who is a unique part of Juan and keeps him in line. Now, tell me about being the doctor name. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, I have a doctorate in, well, let me start off with my research.
Yeah.
My research was on the lived experiences of African American women in California K-12 public schools. So superintendents in California K-12 public schools.
Okay.
And so the degree is in organizational leadership with an emphasis in organizational development. And so I was able to, study about leadership. And it really did kind of inspire me. I'm also a retired educator, so I served as a classroom teacher and a school site administrator, and I was at the county office level for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where it was really life-changing for me to work, as an educator, and then really kind of peel back what was happening for African American women superintendents in California, and looking at the number of school districts that we actually have in California, and the very small number of women, black women who've served in that role. So that's what the doctorate is in.
Bravo to
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
And I know you're really good at what it is you do, which leads me right to Juan again, among other things, because you're in schools teaching young musicians, young
Yes.
people about music. Tell me about that.
Yes, so there's a school in Vallejo called Elite School, and I teach there during the week. I've been there for like 4 years. When I first got in, I was just teaching congas, hand percussion stuff.
Yeah.
And I had my friend, Malacio Madalullo, that played with my father, play sax, and he brought in the horn section. And we had a band and everything going on at the school, Elite. And so after a while, they just wanted like a drum line and stuff. They wanted me to teach that. So I started doing that. I love it. I still do it today. And the kids are amazing.
Really?
They are.
So the thing I love about it is it's an after-school program for music.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be in the class. So like the others, because it's like 4:30, I think we start, 4:30 or 5. So the school gets out around 3.
Yeah.
So it's the kids that want to learn about music. So they don't have to take the course.
They make the effort.
They make
They
the
do.
effort.
Yeah.
And they come in and they really enjoy playing. And some have good rhythms, some doesn't. But the thing is to watch them progress,
Yeah.
get better, and really, like, I look in their eyes, I talk
Yeah.
to them, like, it's supposed to be fun. Let's have fun. Because some of them get, like, disencouraged by, like, their
I
time
can't
is
do
not,
it,
I
damn
can't
it.
do it, and I go, and I tell them the story.
Yeah.
Like, my timing was terrible for years. So you're just joining the class.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you enjoy it and have fun, and then so when we take a break, I always say, "You guys having a good time?" They go, "Yes." And I go, "No, are you having fun?" And they go,
Yeah.
"Yeah." I said,
Yeah.
"That's the energy I want." Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a mean teacher. I'm not scolding you. I want you to, because music should be fun.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be something that you have to do.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I grew up. My father never said, "This is wrong." He always said, "This is the better way." The better way of playing the pattern, which is, it's your words that are very important. You don't say you're messing up or you don't have good timing.
Yeah.
You say, this is better, or listen to this, and then you start realizing that it makes sense.
Yeah.
And now it's fun.
Yeah.
So I never expected really to be a professional musician, but I knew I started feeling the music and loved it. And I seen my uncles and all, because there was the Escovedo brothers with my Uncle Phil and Coke and my brother and my other uncle. So they had the Escovedo brothers at clubs, and all I saw was laughter and fun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that,
So, along with your talented father, you have a wonderful mother.
I do. I do.
I love her too. Talk about her.
Okay, so I always thought I was named after my mother because it's Juanita.
Yeah.
So I'm Juan. Mm-hmm. I didn't find out till later. I said, "Mom, I'm glad I have part of your name." She goes, "No."
That wasn't it.
Wasn't it. But anyway, so yeah, Mom's amazing. She sings, she plays piano. She is the foundation of the family.
Yeah.
As you know,
Yeah.
for a good man, you got to have a good woman.
Yep.
My parents been together, I think, 68 years. They met in junior high school. So I always had that foundation of people being together and how it works. Family. So my mother always cooked and did everything in the neighborhood. Kids come over, we played, we have fun. My father, we jammed and stuff, and she cooked, like I said, in the backyard we'd play basketball, sports and stuff. So it was always united, and he always had his brothers over. My mother had her brothers over. So that's all I knew was family, laughter, and playing music.
That's what I like about, one of the many things I like about your family and being around you and them and all of that. Do you remember the early days when Carlos Santana would come past the house?
I did. But at that time, he wasn't Carlos Santana. He was just another musician.
Yeah.
Came by the house. And then, he had his guitar. He came over, he playing guitar in the front room. And just like Prince. So when he came, when he first did his first album, he came to the house and he was playing, and he would just like, so when I met him, he goes, he comes to the door. Sheila goes, "This is Prince." And I'm looking at him like, he's a Prince? Because he had a torn T-shirt and pants. Back then, it's back in style now. Torn T-shirts.
Right.
But I'm like, he doesn't look like a Prince. And I'm like, "You're a Prince?" He goes, "No, I'm not a Prince. My name is Prince." And I said, "Okay, what do you do?" He goes, "I sing and play, just like everybody else in the neighborhood." So he came downstairs. We always had a keyboard, drums, guitar, everything in the basement. He started playing. I'm like, wow. He could play. And he played and then he started singing. I'm like, wow. He's like 15 and 16. Then I think a year or two later, he was on tour with Rick James. Remember the Circus Star Theater?
Yeah.
So he played there. So he gave us tickets. And I went to go see him play. And I'm like, wow, this guy is something.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's it feel being around all this?
It's very, it's interesting. I do enjoy it. I love music, and so the people that come to the shows they love their family so much.
Yeah.
And they actually, I have conversations with a lot of them, and they just talk about how much they feel so loved. They feel so like they feel that warmth, especially with moms. I mean, they really, I mean, they can feel the energy, and everybody is so positive. Like his family is so positive and nice and kind, like really good-hearted people. And so for me, that's important too, because sometimes when you have a large family, sometimes there can be fractions in it, but it's not like that. It's just so, I feel so at home when we go, and stay with his parents. I mean, it's so warm and welcome. And so
it's good for nice. People to know. Juan, what's in your hand there?
Oh, this is my CD.
Oh, really?
Yes. So this is actually my first solo CD. I've done other CDs. So we actually had the Escovedos do a CD before, back in the days. And I toured and did a lot of work with other people. When I started working on this is when COVID hit. Like I say, I always writing music, playing things.
Right.
But once COVID hit, I said, I might as well do the CD. Now I can get it done. So a lot of musicians have their own studios at home now. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
sure.
So that's how I did this in the beginning. They were adding parts and stuff they wanted to play in this. And I had the track with me and Michael Angel Alvarado co-wrote 7 songs on there. And then once we got it together, I sent out the tracks to the other band members that I wanted to play on it. And then we went in the studio, Raphael Sadiq studio in LA. Tony, who played with Sheila when he was 18.
Did he really?
He was in the band playing bass.
Yeah.
And we didn't know he could sing.
Wow.
So he was just playing bass. So after the COVID, like I was saying, so we went to Raphael's studio, and then I sent out the songs to all the other band members. So on piano, Montez. So I have.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I have Jonathan Montez on piano.
Yeah.
Oscar Cantaya on bass, and Sheila, my sister, played drums, and my brother would play drums. There's switch on the songs, and my brother produced the whole the CD.
Peter Michael.
I co-produced, and then we ended up doing videos. So I have 7 videos on YouTube.
I see them.
Yeah, they turned out. That's my brother did all that, except for
Peter
one
Michael's
song.
band.
Yeah.
Well, hold that thought. And the CD is called The J. The J for
That's
the
my
Y.
nickname.
That's right. So we'll talk more about that, and there's some other things I want to talk about. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back on Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Dave Clark. I'm your host. My guests, Juan Escovedo and Dr. Gethsemane Moss. First of all, before I ask you that one thing to think about, you play
Congas.
Congas. Could you teach me to do that?
I can teach anybody, for real.
Okay.
We all got rhythm. Yeah.
Well, my wife would say, no, not him. But that's another story. But okay, I'll take it at that. So what were you thinking about when I asked you the one thing you wanted to mention or bring up?
The one thing I try to tell musicians, kids, or even at 30, 50 years old, I also teach older people that always wanted to play music and didn't know they had the rhythms and playing. So
right.
I go to people's house and teach them at any age. But the main thing is just to know that we all have a calling. We all have something that's inside of us that we can play or do. It doesn't have to be music, it could be artwork, it could be whatever. But there's something when we are younger that said, I want to do this, I want to do this.
That God instills, it's
Yeah,
there.
right. That you feel something,
Yeah.
and you never pursued it. So my thing is like, pursue it. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you're still here on earth, and you have a passion for something, it doesn't matter what age you are. Just do it and have fun with it. You don't have to be on stage. Like I have kids always ask me, how'd you get in the position you're in, like touring and all that? I said, first of all, you have to find out what do you really love, your passion. What makes you think every day, I want to do that, I want to do that. So, because when my father started, he was playing sax, right?
Interesting.
And the sax didn't love him. So,
okay.
So he had to find out that wasn't his instrument.
And he found his way
to where
his
he
calling.
is. And I used to play trumpet for years in school for 6 years. Loved trumpet.
Hold that thought, because we're out of time. But I enjoyed this so much, being with you, Juan Escovedo, Dr. Gethsemane Moss. Perfect guests.
Thank you.
Thank you both. And I thank you for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Talk of the Town.